Ron Cruz was a mechanic at a Southern California Firestone. He stood in the office, wiping grease from his hands, when his son, Robert Anthony Cruz, walked in. Robert Anthony smiled, pulled a Washington Nationals cap from behind his back, and held it up. Ron squinted, confused for a second. Then it hit him. His breath came, and his glasses came off. He pulled his son into a tight embrace, blinking back tears. Cynthia, his wife, caught it all on video. Nobody could have predicted how far that video would take their son. Overnight, Robert Anthony's post exploded. His minor league career with the Nationals lasted less than a year, but something else had begun. For years later, Robert Anthony, Coach RAC, to his 1.5 million followers, is a voice for young athletes. Kids tune in to his TikToks, not just for baseball tips, but for something more, reassurance. Across the screen, he tells them what his parents once told him. It's okay to struggle. Rod dreamed of baseball as a boy but never got to play. Still, when Robert Anthony was young, Ron didn't push after a visit to a local file. Robert Anthony chose the game. You think you could do that? Ron had asked, watching a kid at bat. Yeah, Robert Anthony had said. I think I could hit the ball. He didn't know if he'd swing left-handed or right. Didn't know much of anything. But he started. He was always the smallest kid, a little behind the underdog. He was homeschooled until the 11th grade, learning baseball as he learned math, through trial and error. Sometimes he struggled, slamming a book shut, frustrated. His mom would remind him, "You aren't born knowing this. You're learning." The same went for baseball. There were no shortcuts. He worked harder than the rest, swinging late into the night, while his teammates were home watching TV. But Ron never forced it. He didn't yell from the stands. Didn't push advice unless asked. Instead, he'd toss another pitch and wait. Years later, in college, Robert Anthony walked away from his Division I scholarship after a tough season, which was a step B, but his parents had raised him to choose his path. It led him to a new team, then to the Nationals, and finally to the Savannah Bananas, where baseball became fun again. He hit a walk-off homer last summer in front of a sold-out crowd. His parents were there watching, because, through every high and low, they had always been watching, always believing.